Hey, what's going on, everybody? This is John J. Gaming on the mic here, coming at you with a brand new episode of the Big Earl Football Podcast here on NCAA 14. We're covering the Earlham Dynasty, and we just finished our first season back playing college football. We won one game. We went 1-11 this season. We definitely got some work to do, so what I got planned for you guys here today, we're going to take a quick look at our recruiting board, check out the stats for our guys, as well as take a look at the conference and national championship game for season 1 as well. And then the next episode will be the full season 1 off-season recap. It's all going to be a really good one, so make sure you smash that like button, hit subscribe, you have to be brand new as well. Let's go ahead and get into this action, starting with the recruiting board. So when we got to the third quarter mark, we were going after 4 guys, and we did receive confirmation after our final game against Anderson that David Allen did make his decision, and he's not going to Earlham. We lose out on the 3-star tailback from Berea, California. He is going to go to San Jose State, and it's a huge bummer, man. We were trying to go after at least one halfback. We went after 2 this season. We did not get either of them. So I don't know what we're going to do with the halfback position, but we still have 3 guys left on the board. Jerry Henley, who we're still in a battle with Transylvania with, and we're closing the gap there. It's now just 770. We're also in contention with Ryan Yates, who's a 57 overall guard from Indiana. We're actually in a close one with one of our rivals in Rose Holman. They're trying to go after him as well. That's extremely close. And then an even closer one, Omar Andrews, is probably going to be our biggest priority when we get to off-season recruiting, because we really need some offensive linemen. We only signed 2 so far, and Omar Andrews is pretty close so far, man. We are out here with only a 300-point difference between us and Bluffton University, and he could start for us right away if we can bring him home. But even though we haven't signed anybody as of late, that still doesn't mean that we have a solid recruiting class. Now, we're sitting at 63rd right now, which I know doesn't sound too great, but gotta remember that we're the worst team in, well, at least the second worst team in college football right now. So we're seeing a recruiting class that's in the middle of the pack. That's promising to see, but we can start working our way up from there. We're around teams like San Jose State, for example, who just stole a guy. Also got Navy around us. Middle of the pack, which is nice to see. We're ahead of Rose Holman. That is one of our rivals, so I do like to see that. We are not done with this recruiting class yet. We can still bring in 3 more guys. I would love to have a top 60 recruiting class at the end of the season. So let's go ahead and take a look at the season stats for our guys. This is the final season stats, by the way. And, we had 4 different people throw the football for us, whether it's from a pass fake or whether it's because of injury. We did have quite a bit of injuries at the quarterback position, which is no surprise because, we didn't do that great of a job of keeping our quarterback upright this season. That's why I'm really going after offensive linemen, because if we can't win the trenches, we're going to have a really rough time. But that being said, though, Terrain Patton, he was our starting quarterback to start off. He was, 57% completion percentage, threw for over 2,200 yards. He had 9 touchdowns, but also 19 interceptions. He did clean up a little bit in the second half of the season. The first half in particular was really tough to take in, but he was the only person that got some playing time. We also saw Matt Lewis get in and play some games. He actually looked pretty solid in relief. He was even had a few starts. He was 75 for 140, had 800 yards passing with 5 touchdowns and 3 interceptions, which honestly is not too terribly bad. I didn't start Matt Lewis because I know he's listed as a scrambler, but he only has 50 speed. So I don't know why he's listed as scrambler. If he was a little faster, honestly, I would have started him because he does bring a little bit more to the table from a passing perspective, but because our offensive line is so bad, I had to start Terrain Bad instead. Now, Michael Bridges, he also got some playing time as well. We actually had to bring him in relief one game because it was a time where Terrain Patton was dealing with a major injury, and Matt Lewis got hurt, and John Lewis was the emergency quarterback, and I didn't want him to play, quarterback as a fullback. So we brought Michael Bridges in, see what he can do. I was not impressed with him whatsoever. He was only 1 for 8 for 11 yards. The running game was also something that we really struggled with, and that was part of our offensive line problems. But that doesn't mean we couldn't find the end zone, though. We actually had quite a few rushing touchdowns. We actually had 9 rushing TDs, which was honestly 9 more than I expected going into this season. Terrain Patton was our leading rusher, but it wasn't too pretty though. 201 yards and 3 touchdowns. Aaron Ball got some carries as well. He was actually our lead back, and he only averaged 1 yard per carry. He had 181 yards rushing, but did find the end zone 4 times. Matt Lewis and Michael Mason each also found the end zone and had a little bit better luck on the ground as well. They each averaged 2 yards per carry. Now the receivers definitely got plenty of action this season. We kind of went towards the passing game because we would we give up a lot of points, and we couldn't run the ball either. We had some good good receiving output from our guys this season. Miami Thomas did lead the lead with the most receptions. He had a grand total of 57 catches for 680 yards and 3 touchdowns, which is really nice to see. Aaron Ball, St. Wilhelm, and Henry B. York weren't too far behind him as well. They each had over 40 catches. St. Wilhelm and Henry B. York each had over 600 yards receiving this season. Adam Pitts, though, he wasn't too bad. The starting tight end, got some good run as well. He became a reliable wide receiving tight end for us as well. He had 27 catches for over 350 yards and a few touchdowns. Jared Crosby had double-digit catches, and the same could be said for John Evans and backup tight end Pete Wise. Now for our offensive line, I did mention that it was really rough, but it's not like that they were completely useless though. Nate Coleman led the way with the most pancakes this season. He had 4 pancakes while allowing 4 sacks. Those 4 pancakes do lead the team by a long shot. I like how Nate Coleman went about this season. Ben Robbins and Jay Downing also got pancakes, but Jay Downing was a guy that also allowed the most sacks this season. He gave up 6 sacks. With Jesse Landry, Alvin Wilson giving up a few sacks, and then Ben Robinson, Brandon Pierce giving up multiple sacks as well. On the defensive side of the ball, it was certainly a very rough season for us here, and we we did what we could do. We couldn't get the stops for most of the season when we needed a stop necessarily, but again, there's always some bright spots even in the darkest of times. Justin White and Caden Dolman essentially tied for most tackles throughout the course of the season. Justin White led the team with 63 total tackles, with Caden Dolman from the free safety position having 62 total tackles. As for TFLs though, Lonnie Morris was a problem. 15 TFLs. He did a really good job of getting into the backfield. Same thing could be said for Jamie Johnson, a fellow defensive lineman. He had 9 TFLs on the season. Justin White wasn't too far behind with 6 as well. And then Joey Martin, Matt Reed, and Andrew Smith, all 3 of these guys tied for 5 TFLs. So one thing that one of the biggest issues that we had on our defensive side of the ball, we just couldn't get a pass rush going whatsoever. We only had 3 guys with more than 1 sack this season. Andrew Smith, Jamie Johnson, and Lonnie Morris both had multiple sacks. But after that, we had 4 other guys with 1 sack. Anthony got a sack. Same with Jason Bell, Josh Hill, and Dane Slaughter. We really need to work on our pass rush. If we can't rush the quarterback whatsoever, then it's going to certainly cause some problems going forward that we're going to have to deal with later on. So certainly hate to see that, but it's something that we do have to work on. And as a result of that, because of no pass rush, we hardly force any turnovers as well. Michael Mason, Reggie Chapman, and Thomas Hall each had 1 interception this season. Although we did have a couple of forced fumbles as well. Joey Martin and Anthony, whenever it got into garbage time, did get forced fumbles, and they recovered their fumbles as well. But that being said, we really got to work on the defensive side of the ball, and that's a huge reason why a lot of people that I'm going after is defensive guys. So now we'll go ahead and take a quick look at our total offense as well as our total defense, as a team over the course of the season. Now, we had the 2nd worst offense in the entire FBS, but at least we were close to moving up a little bit higher. we're pretty close to teams like New Mexico State, Virginia, Texas Tech, and even TCU as well, all of which are less than 200 yards away from us for total offense over a course of a single season. Same thing with total offensive yards, we're second to last. Passing yards, though, is one of our highest marks throughout the course of the entire season. We're actually in the top 10. Now, granted, we did pass the ball a lot in complete desperation, but, you know, the passing game was pretty solid for us throughout the course of the season. Now, for a running game, that was a completely different story. We were dead last in terms of rushing yards. Even Transylvania somehow managed to rush for 1,000 yards. I don't know how they managed to do that, but they did manage to do that, so it is what it is for that. But that being said, we had the second worst offense in points per game. We did average 15.5, something that we can definitely move on moving forward. But we do have quite a few passing touchdowns. Actually, we had to find ourselves a little bit. We're towards we're still towards the bottom, but we found a way to score, man. We did find a way to score with the pieces that we have, and it shows that this offense definitely has the potential. I think we're an offensive line away from being very dangerous. On the defensive side of the ball, we are also with the second worst for total offensive yards allowed, with almost 5,800 yards throughout the course of an entire season. That's actually pretty similar to Idaho, which is in this Dynasty. Although granted, actually they already played all 12 of their games. We did beat Transylvania, so that's good to see. That being said, we did have the worst passing defense in the entire country, and then we also had one of the worst rushing defenses in the nation as well. We allowed 2,300 yards. If I can find our squad real quick. Actually, we do have to go quite a bit down. Oh, there it is. Actually, I have to go quite a bit down a little bit just to find us, but I mean, we didn't have that much of a quality rushing defense. Hopefully, the slew of linebackers coming in will help. On a more negative note, we actually allowed the most points throughout the entire season. That's actually even worse than Transylvania, but hey, we got a win over them, so that's what matters the most. We had the least sacks in the FBS. We had one of the fewest fumble recoveries in the entire league. I guess we had 4 fumble recoveries. I didn't realize we had that many. I only saw 2, but we were tied for last place for most interceptions alongside ULM, the Raging Cajuns, and Texas State. Granted, these teams all still have an opportunity to get out of the bottom a little bit. They all have one more game to play. We're done, though, so very much possible that we could be last in that. So let's go ahead and take a look into this year's conference championship game in the MAC conference, where we actually do have Defiance College going to go play against Manchester, who is currently ranked number 17 in the entire country. You know, Manchester, man, both of these teams, you know, we had a really hard time keeping them out of the end zone. Defiance we were a little bit more competitive with, but you can see how dominant Manchester has been, and especially in our division. They're 81 conference play and finishing 10-2 overall, whereas Defiance, you know, they're a 77-5 team, and they got the tiebreaker over Mount St. Joseph and Wittenberg. Both the other two teams had a better record overall than Defiance, but they did what they need to do. The 75 team, they're out here, and they actually have a nice little drive going early on. Defiance is already on Manchester's side of the field to start this thing off, so you certainly love to see that here early on. As now their quarterback is going to drop back. Going to throw a quick dart over the right-hand side. He gets it out to Joel Sutton. And that's going to be a good first 6-yard gain as well. As now we got another 3rd and 4 coming up here. Quarterback in the shotgun. Defiance going to throw it quick out to the left-hand side. And just like that, Defiance is already in the red zone. And, you know, Jason Clayton, you know, he's definitely been a really good player this season. He's only 55 yards away from having a 1,000-yard year. I would be absolutely shocked, because I'm pretty sure Defiance should be going to a bowl game unless something crazy happens. They should have that. He should have the opportunity to get that 1,000-yard season. And speaking of Clayton, well, not Clayton, that's actually Patrick Steele. Yellow Jackets, they're already in a goal line situation. They could take an early lead here as long as the quarterback is smart, but it's dropped and it's intercepted by the Spartans. And so Defiance on the goal line turns the ball over. You absolutely hate to see it. As we throw over to the left-hand side again, gonna go ahead and manage to pick up 7 yards here as well. You love to see it. So second and short coming up, probably the last play of this first quarter of play. As quarterback gonna go ahead, trying to throw it out to the right-hand side. Brian Turner was looking for his halfback, but didn't quite get it. But I mean, it's been a pretty defensive-minded first quarter for sure. Game is still all tied up at 0. We haven't seen any scoring just yet, but I'm sure eventually that scoring is going to pick up, particularly for Manchester. They did have one of the best offenses in the entire country, at least in terms of points per game. As we got another 1st and 10 coming up here. Brian Turner, he's going to drop back to the pass, move around the pocket. He has some good pocket movement, but it looks like the short completion is going to become even larger though, as there's an actual face mask penalty, and it goes against the defense. Brandon Bouchard able to get the face mask, and it's good for 15. As now Brian Turner gonna go ahead and try to run it right up the middle and manage to pick up 10 yards out of it. So it's a fresh set of downs for the Spartans. As we got a 2nd and inches coming up, gonna take this thing up the middle and gonna pick up another 1st down here as well. Josh Lewis, that's good for a gain of 10. As we now have a 2nd and 11 coming up, gonna go to the outside with the tailback. He's got some running room, as well as Jason Jacobs takes that one out for a gain of 11 as well. So Manchester only has a 3rd and inches to deal with, and no surprises here. They're gonna run with it, but there's a penalty on the field as well, and it's offsides on Defiance. Brandon Bouchard they're gonna get him once again. That's already the 2nd penalty of this drive, and it could cost Manchester, dearly, as he's able to get into the end zone. The backup tailback Josh Lewis gets up in there. Touchdown for the Spartans. And Josh Lewis gets his 1st score of the day, and Manchester takes a 7-0 lead, but still remains 7-0, man. Neither team really doing much here, although the Spartans do have an opportunity to add a couple more points on the board before the end of this first half. As Brian Turner goes over the middle, he's brought down, and it's a decent drive for Manchester, some quick movement, and they're able to get a field goal before they go into the locker room. And it's a 10-0 lead here, man. You love to see it. So Manchester, they carry a 10-0 lead thus far. As we now go into the second half of play, and we get a little bit of a scoreboard glitch from NCAA 14. Not sure why it does this for when you want to have like a CPU versus CPU matchup, but that's what mine decides to do. But hey, it is what it is. But Defiance is still down 10-0. We'll see if they can get something going on offense. They had one really good drive, but it turned into a turnover on the goal line. So we'll see how Defiance responds, man. They definitely get some points on the board. You can't win unless you score more points than the other team. That's how the cookie crumbles, man. As he throws a 2nd interception, 44, bouncing off tacklers and gets it all the way out to midfield as well. You hate to see it, and Brian Turner and company, they're going to take over right on midfield as well, as we got some movement up front as well. First play with the new drive, as now we got a 2nd and short coming up here. Turner gonna keep it on the read option. He's gonna end up picking up the 1st down here as well. So now we got a 1st and 10 coming up. It's now 1st and 10 once again. Gonna go ahead, hand it up right the middle. Josh Jacobs just grinding right through there, man. Another 1st down for the Spartans. A couple plays later now, 3rd and 3. Brian Turner actually deciding to pass, trying to get it on the slant pattern, and so, but they drop it though. So Manchester, they had to settle for another field goal, and they're still only up 13-0. This is still a winnable game for Defiance by every stretch of the imagination, but you can't be giving up good returns like that. That's a 25-yard return for the Manchester special teams unit. Special teams, they can win you games, man, just off of that alone. As now, Brian Turner, he has great field position once again, and eventually, the Spartans are going to take full advantage of the great field position that they've been provided over the course of this game. Because Brian Turner, he's been close to scoring, but he hasn't quite been able to get into the end zone just yet. But I'm sure that'll change here soon as we got 2nd and 10. Turner actually going to keep on the read option, but is stuffed in the backfield though. Loss of 4 on that, and now we got 3rd and long here. Turner trying to make something happen on 3rd down, sending it down the seam, and he gets open in the end zone. Touchdown, Manchester. And the Spartans open it up here in this 3rd quarter. They double up their score from the entire first half. And Manchester, with 1 quarter left to play, they're up 20-0, and they're only 1 quarter away from winning this conference championship game here in the HCAC within NCAA 14. As we got a 3rd and long coming up, Defiance needing to make something happen here. As quarterback will drop back, throw it to the left-hand side, but it's intercepted again. 3rd pick of the day. It's been a rough going so far. And Manchester again with phenomenal field position here as they get it out to the outside. This is another touchdown here once more. And Manchester just taking full advantage of the turnovers. They have won the turnover battle, and it's being well reflected in the scoreboard. Manchester now with a 27-0 lead. As the Yellow Jackets, they're just looking to recover here. Trying to get off the board at the very least as they try to throw out to the right-hand side. But nobody was home. Another incompletion. James Moore having a difficult day. No touchdowns, 3 interceptions. As they throw over the middle, tries to get the 1st down and does. Continues to fight forward. Warren McCormick with an 18-yard gain. As we got another 1st and 10 coming up here. Moore looking out, gonna get it out to McCormick once again. It's another near 1st down for the Yellow Jackets. As they try to get to the line quickly now. They're down by 4 possessions. But we only have a few minutes left here at the same time. It's now 2nd and inches. Moore, play action, facing some duress, and that's almost intercepted as well. Not a great decision, and the Spartans have really harassed this kid for sure. As now 3rd and inches, they're just going to hand it off to McCormick, who is able to pick up the 1st down. Actually, that's Sean Ruffin. I'm used to calling McCormick's number. He's been a beast too. As a couple plays later now, 2nd and 8, going to throw over the middle. Trying to find his receiver, but that's also going to be incomplete here. As we got a 3rd and long now. Going to go ahead and run it right up the middle. Sean Ruffin nearly picks up the 1st down, but it's just not quite going to happen. As we got 4th and long now. Trying to pick up the 1st down on the ground, but it's not even close though. And Manchester is going to go ahead and win this game by a final score of 27-0. And they do end up winning the MAC championship here in our Dynasty. Meanwhile, we'll go to another game that has stakes that are just a little bit higher now. We have the national championship game in our Dynasty, and this year it's going to be between the Florida Gators and the Texas Longhorns. And should be a great matchup because Florida does have a better overall roster. But that being said though, Texas does have the Heisman winner Bo Bishop, playing quarterback for the Longhorns. So it's going to be a real good matchup to watch, man. And it's great for, us to watch as well, to see what it's going to take for us to go ahead and win the national championship eventually in this series. We obviously still have a long way to go. We finished 1-11 in one of the worst conferences in college football. But it looks like the Florida Gators are going to start with the football. And Florida early on, they're going to go ahead, use the no huddle as we have a quick play action over the middle. And it's a huge game over the middle to Jarrell Washington, who ends up picking 25 off of that. And of course, since nobody is hurt, Florida is going to go right back to no huddle. Texas is setting the house, but they're just not getting home in time. They're getting hits on this quarterback early, though. We'll see if that plays a role later on in the game. As we have another 1st and 10 for Florida. They have moved the ball downfield easily. And speaking of easy, there's another catch over the middle for Jarrell Washington, who ends up picking 22. As now we got 1st and goal, and just going to go ahead, run in the end zone himself. Anthony Marshall taking a shot as he gets in, but still holds on and gets the touchdown. And Florida starts this thing off. They have a 7-0 lead here early, as it looks like the Texas Longhorns are now going to go ahead and take the field. As now we got 1st and 10. Bo Bishop actually going to keep it on the read option. He's bringing some tackles and gets across midfield. Bobby Bishop good for 17. The Heisman Trophy winner looking to end with a national championship trophy. As we already know, this kid's going to go to the NFL when this season is all said and done. But right now, he's just figuring out, how to attack this Florida defense. As we got 2nd and 11. We got a screen out to the right-hand side. Able to avoid some guys, bouncing it to the outside, and nearly picks up the first down here as well. It seems like they had James Johnson bottled up, but, still able to pick up some good yards. And it's a manageable 3rd down that Bobby Bishop is going to go ahead and pick up for the Texas Longhorns. Because now we got 1st and goal. Going to go over to the left-hand side, but gets wrapped up in the backfield. Tried to bounce it outside, but John Walker was there for it, though. And it's now a 2nd and goal, but they try another read option, though. This time, Bobby does have the inside. Gets into the end zone untouched, man. A touchdown for the Longhorns. And, other than that, man, it's been a close game, man. Tied up at 7 apiece. As we got a 1st and 10 once again. Trying to get some magic going on offense here once again. Because I figured, like, after the first couple of drives that we saw that we were going to have a shootout. But it actually hasn't been that way. Nobody's turned the ball over. It's been some good fundamental defense. But it looks like Texas they will have the opportunity to go ahead and try to break the tie here. That's been around for at least half a quarter. As Bishop will drop back, trying to throw it to the left-hand side. He was looking for his receiver down the seam, but that's incomplete, though. And so Texas actually has to go ahead and settle for a field goal, but they do go ahead and take their first lead of this game. Granted, it's only a field goal, and we'll see how long it lasts, as Florida will try to respond and see if they'll take the lead themselves. As Anthony Marshall gets intercepted. Going to take it down the sideline at the 15, the 10. And he's dropped at the 8-yard line. Anthony Marshall not excited about that whatsoever, man. And so Bobby Bishop, he trucks over a defender too. Good God almighty. My goodness gracious. And now instead, Bobby Bishop gonna throw it to the outside and finds Tez Novak in the end zone. Touchdown for the Texas Longhorns. And they take advantage of the interception, a rare interception by Anthony Marshall, and as Bobby Bishop does break the record for most touchdown passes in this season. So congratulations to Bobby Bishop. You definitely love to see it. He's got the records, and he has the Heisman Trophy. It looks like his team is well on track for winning the national championship, but this game is far but over, though, as Anthony Marshall will pick up another first down with the arm. Gets it out to, looks like 88 of Florida, Eugene Richard, making a catch. That's good for his 4th catch of the day. As Marshall will again throw off a play action. 33, Antoine Mark trucking over a couple of defenders. I thought he stepped out of bounds, but that still didn't happen, though, as Anthony Marshall gonna go ahead, takes a shot himself, was absolutely lit up like a Christmas tree. But a gain of 7, though, as now we got 2nd and 3. Marshall gonna go ahead and run up the right-hand side, and still a first down for the Gators. It's now 2nd and goal, gonna drop back, throw over the middle, and it's a touchdown for Florida. Skyward Williams, number 84, gets in. Less than 2 minutes left. Florida does end up cutting this thing down to a 3-point game, but Bobby Bishop still has the ball, man. The Heisman Trophy winner looking to make a difference as he puts the shoulder down and runs over somebody on his way to a 25-yard gain. Bobby Bishop, he's not the most athletic guy, but he will certainly put his shoulder down. He's not afraid to truck you, even though he is a quarterback for this football team. But we'll see what Bobby can do with the arm. He's only thrown for 57 yards so far, but still chooses to decide to scramble, but picks up the first down as well. I guess when the legs are working, why use the arm? He'll have to pass it eventually, though, as Bobby Bishop will decide to slide once again.
but it's not a first down. That clock's going to run, and time is certainly going to be very crucial here, especially on 3rd and 4. 35, trying to make a play, but it's going to be just an inch shy, and Texas decides to go for another field goal. But solid first half of play here for sure, man. It was the Texas Longhorns. They go into the locker room up 20-14. So here we go, man. 20-14 in favor of the Longhorns as we go ahead and get this thing rocking and rolling. Chris Bow will start things off with a little 6-yard gainer. As the Florida Gators, they're going to try and go ahead and try to take the lead here to begin this 3rd quarter. And that's a nice running play right there as Fred Brown bounces off of multiple defenders on his way to 14. That's his biggest carry of the day so far, as Anthony Marshall will drop back once more, throw this thing over the middle, and it's nearly intercepted. Taylor Robertson, you gotta be great there, my guy. You gotta make that play. But unfortunately, he didn't make that play, and instead Florida still has the football. But Anthony Marshall taking another sack courtesy of Sean Morris. Now got a 3rd and long to deal with here as they run up the middle, and it's just goes ahead and goes for the screen. You know, didn't want to risk it for the biscuit, I suppose. And Florida does settle for another field goal. But it's back down to a 3-point game, though, as Florida actually does end up getting the football back here eventually. So let's see if the Florida Gators can go ahead and take the lead here before we get into the end of this 3rd quarter. As they throw over the middle again, gets to the Chris Battle, and he ends up picking up 6 yards there. Florida Gators will go ahead and get into their no huddle as Anthony Marshall trying to scramble forward and picks up the 1st down. Gets to about midfield there in the process. As now we got another 2nd and 10. Gonna go ahead and drop back, throw to the right hand side, and is brought down by Chris Battle once again. So the Florida Gators now facing a 3rd and 1, and Anthony Marshall gonna drop back, throw to the left hand side, and gets it out of bounds to Eugene Richard for a gain of 7. Another 1st down for the Gators of Florida University, as Anthony Marshall looking to retake the lead here and is gonna find his way into the red zone as well. Florida nearly with 100 yards on the ground in this one. I'm sure they're gonna add on to that before this game is all said and done, as Marshall flips it out to the right hand side. It is Antoine Marcus in the end zone. Touchdown Florida. And now the Gators hold a 24-20 lead, as Texas Longhorns, they now have the football once again as they try to retake the lead that they briefly had in this one. As now we got 1st and 10. Bishop gonna go ahead and hand it off, and is gonna find 8 yards up the middle. James Johnson gets some nice bit of running there. He's been having a good day as well, averaging 6 yards of carries on top of it, as we got another carry up the middle. This time it's James, actually it is James Johnson again. I misread his number, but it's another 1st down here once more as we get into the final play of this 3rd quarter. And look who it is, James freaking Johnson. Another gain of 6. He already has 100 yards on the ground as we go into the final quarter of play for this national championship game. And the Florida Gators, they're up 24-20. We got 1 quarter left. We'll see who wants to be a national champion more, man, as we get into this 4th quarter started. As Ted Novak, he's going to go ahead, take the carry right to the right-hand side, end up picking up 5, a 1st down for Texas. As the Longhorns, they're now sitting on the 35-yard line, trying to get it over the middle, and picks up a 1st down. Blake Harris making his 3rd catch of the day, as Texas now sits right outside of the red zone. Bobby Bishop looking to retake the lead once again, as now Bishop dropping back, gonna try to run, try to scramble for some yards because nobody was open, but he gets sacked in the backfield. Lee Dorsey actually coming in and making the sack, as now we got 2nd and long again, gonna throw to the right hand side. It's fumbled though, but Texas is going to recover, but it's still a 4-yard loss though. 3rd and 19. They're sitting on the edge of field goal range. They're just going to dump it off to James Johnson. but he gets a loss of 2 yards as well on top of it. And the Longhorns, they do end up getting the field goal. It's only a 1-point game, but the Florida Gators went 3 and out, and they have an opportunity to go ahead and retake the lead here. As now we got another 1st and 10. Johnson gonna drop back and throw to the right-hand side. It's gonna be dealing with McFarland, ending up picking up the 5 yards. As we got a 2nd and 5 now coming up. Gonna drop back some more. Gonna throw over the middle to Anthony Walker, but it's incomplete though. So now 3rd and 5. Gonna drop back and pass. Gonna throw to the right-hand side, and it's gonna be incomplete though. We have a 4th down that Texas will really need to convert, trying to get it out to the right-hand side, but it's going to be short of the marker. It's going to be a turnover on downs, and Florida, with 2:30 left in this game, they can go ahead and start running some time off the clock now, and that's exactly what they're doing now. Under 2 minutes left in this game. Going to try to pitch it out, gets it to the left-hand side, but it's intercepted. Fumble recovery by Matt Robinson of Texas. And with 1:37 left, now Texas has the opportunity to potentially win this football game. We'll see if it's going to be enough. 1:30 left in this one. As Bobby Bishop is in the shotgun, he's going to drop back to pass. Throw it quickly to the left-hand side. Gets it to Tez Novak, who gets out of bounds quickly and saves those free timeouts. As now we got 2nd and 2. Bishop dropping back again. Quick throw to the left-hand side. Finds Tez Novak once again, this time for a 6-yard gain. But remains inbounds though, so the Longhorns, they had to get no huddle quickly. As Bishop again throws to the left-hand side. Tries to get to Tez Novak, and I don't think he got out of bounds. So that clock is running, but Texas is still trying to save their timeouts though. Let's see if it works out for them. As he throws to the right-hand side, gets it out to Jameson Thomas for a 4-yard gain. And eventually sets up his field goal attempt with just 12 seconds left in the game. The kick is up, and it is good as well. And so, with only 2 seconds left to play, the Texas Longhorns have a 2-point lead. And Anthony Marshall's going to have to send this thing deep. You got to yeet it to win it. And he's going to try to throw it down deep, but it's deflected, almost making the catch though. And the Texas Longhorns are going to win the national championship here in Season 1 of this Earlham Dynasty. What an exciting national championship game. It's good to see 2 very good teams from 2 very good conferences go ahead and duke it out over the course of this game. You'll love to see it.
But that is going to recap it here for the Big Earl Football Podcast. I'll see you guys in Season 2. And next episode of the Earlham Dynasty is going to be the full off-season recap going into Season 2. It's going to be a good one, so make sure you smash that like button as well as hit subscribe if you do have to be brand new to the channel. And like what you see as well. This is John J Gaming on the mic signing off. Well, hoping you all are out there having a wonderful day. Take care, everybody.